there's a connection potentially between the MIT professor that was killed and the Brown University shooting, or at least that's what the authorities are suspecting. New York Times, authorities believe Brown University shooter rented a vehicle that is the same make and model car connected to the killing of the MIT professor. But what I don't understand is what brings these targets together, because there's no consistency here. Like it wasn't a targeted assassination of a professor in one case where it does look like it was a targeted assassination of a professor in the other one. None of this makes sense. The Brown University shooting happened in the physics and engineering building. Yes. What is this? Someone on Reddit was telling people that the car was a rental 2 days ago. I'm being dead serious. The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental. That was the car he was driving. It was parked in front of a little shack behind the Rhode Island Historical Society on the Cook Street side. I know because he used his key fob to open the car, approached it, and then something prompted him to back away. When he backed away, he relocked the car. I found that so odd when he circled the block. I approached the car, and that is when I saw the Florida plates. He was parked in a section between the gate of the RIHS and the corner of Cook and George Street. What the f*** is the one time where there was someone on Reddit that actually, someone on Reddit for once seemingly identified. I mean, this is from 2 days ago. TikTok conspiracy theorists are saying it's all tied to nuclear research and engineering since Brown students were in the engineering and physics department. I just don't get it. Oh, Kyle, watch out. Don't stand behind me. Oh. I mean, this is all speculation at this point. We just need to get information from the authorities, okay? This is the liberal conspiracy theory currently. Trump was involved. Oh yeah, no, I that's what chatters were sending me. Trump Media, the parent company of Truth Social, agreed to merge with a nuclear fusion company in a deal worth $6 billion. Because Nuno Loureiro was assassinated yesterday. He's a professor and director at MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center, 47 years old, studied nuclear fusion, energy source of the sun plus stars for 10 years at MIT. The other liberal conspiracy I'm shocked people haven't actually mentioned is that Elon Musk only days prior was talking about nuclear fusion and how stupid it is and how no one should look into it at all or something along those lines. I'm shocked that they're not actually talking about how Elon Musk is related to this somehow. His award-winning work focused on creating a virtually limitless clean energy source on Earth, one that doesn't produce carbon or radioactive waste, usual byproduct of fission reactors. His research was essentially a threat to companies in the energy sector, fossil fuels, wind, solar, etc. Nuno was vital to the development of fusion nuclear power plants. Without him, the path ahead is less clear, plus his death will set back the entire field. Nuno is not the first MIT fusion scientist to be brutally murdered. In 2004, Eugene Milov was also shot in his home. I hope this opens eyes. There is an agenda at play. 188,000 likes. Yeah, this was only days prior to the assassination of Nuno. The sun is an enormous free fusion reactor in the sky. It is super dumb to make tiny fusion reactors on Earth. Even if you burn 4 Jupiters, the sun would still round up to 100% of all power that will ever be produced in the solar system. Stop wasting money on puny little reactors unless actively acknowledging that they are just there for your pet science project. Jesus Christ. Twitter is basically 4chan now. Yes, it's been that way since the Elon purchase. Trump's social media company is attempting a $6 billion merger with a nuclear fusion company. TAE Technologies partnered with the UK's Atomic Agency this month, has financial backing from the Russian government, and hopes to see fusion power the AI revolution. This is what is inviting all of these strange conspiracies. I'm a nuclear physics postdoc, and that comment just made me want to kill myself. Thank you. Don't do it. We can't lose more nuclear scientists.
But Brian, you and so many journalists have questions about the cameras at Brown. Give us some examples of what you're wondering.
Well, Jake, what they really have not answered and what we have been pressing them repeatedly on this week is why, and according to officials, and
if it's not a conspiracy, explain why Trump's company is investigating fusion
in the newer part of that engineering building. We've been told that this is a newer building attached to an older part of the building. So that they did have multiple cameras in the newer part of the building, and that those cameras actually did capture a lot of activity.
I'm trying to tie this all together, and I guess the only thing I can think of is like you have a very skilled assassin with a fall guy that tries to do like I'm putting my fucking conspiracy theory hat on, right? None of this is real. I'm just trying to comprehend what this would look like. And it would be like, oh, you try to create chaos in a mass shooting incident in Brown, because the victims in Brown are not connected at all to anything significant. They're just like regular students. And while everyone is actually focused on Brown, you very quickly make an exit, a swift exit, drive 20 minutes down the street and go to this neighborhood where your actual target is, and then you go and you assassinate the target. Because I don't see any other reason why. This would be in any way, shape, or form connected, you know? Nah, dudes need to stop fusion power is not all anywhere near commercializable. We're 50 plus years away from it being useful. You never know, man. If we're doing conspiracy theories, you know, what if he was on the verge of a new discovery? I will say, when I see the FBI agents literally fucking stomping on the ground like this in the snow, it kind of makes me feel like they're in on it. And they're like, oh, God, oh, gosh, darn it. Gotta find this guy now. Like, I know that's not the case. And I'm sure the simpler explanation is that they are not in on some grand conspiracy, but simply just competent. But it quite literally looks in every way, shape, and form like they are in on it. I saw a tweet about this on the timeline that went viral. It was like, yeah, me looking for my friend's right after I stole it. I thought it was a target attack that killed a VPN of Brown's Republican Club. Wait, why what? No, that was what what's his face was saying. James Woods was saying, to which I responded with, where is it? James Woods and all these other right-wingers were claiming, this is the vice president of the, campus Republican club and nobody seems to care about her. If she were the vice president of the campus Democrat club, the killer would have been caught, tried, and in prison by now. There would have been crystal clear video of every moment. To which I responded with, you won. You got your guy who's exhausting all law enforcement resources and kidnapping your neighbors at court hearings. He put a podcaster in charge of the FBI. Now they're failing over and over again, but it's still somehow a Democrat conspiracy. Who's the Democrat? Patel? Trump? Who's the Democrat here? How is this still the Democrats' moment? I don't understand it. I need to understand it. What are you trying to say here? This makes as little sense as January 6th was actually an Antifa. It was an Antifa incident, but we also have to free all of the political prisoners that were imprisoned on January 6th for both simultaneously being Antifa and doing an insurrection, but also that insurrection was good and they're all brave patriots. It doesn't make sense. Make sense. Make it make sense. I feel like the dumber Republicans get, the worse their arguments get, but it still has so much salience for some fucking weird reason. They don't even have to make any sense whatsoever. No need for moral consistency, no need for logic. You can lie, but just make it a logical lie. Nope, that's too much of a ask.
Boston's coverage from Providence, Rhode Island, of course, covering the CBS News confirmation that police have identified a person of interest wanted in connection with this deadly shooting at Brown University on Saturday. I want to go ahead now and go to the head of our crime and policing unit, Anna Schechter, who is here with me in Studio 57. We'll go to Rodney Harrison in a little bit, law enforcement expert. But Anna, first of all, we heard Penny Commit there talking about the possible link between the shooting that happened Saturday at Brown University, 2 students tragically killed, and the fatal shooting of the MIT professor, that there might be a connection. What is your reporting?
Well, our reporting is that law enforcement are looking at a possible connection. Remember, they are working round the clock. They're going through surveillance imagery, license plate readers, license plate reader cameras that are taking images in and around the streets, the vehicles in and around Brown University and in and around this neighborhood in Brookline where the professor lived, also in and around MIT. And so they are looking for leads. And so this is yet another lead. It's another lead in a series of leads that until, they have not been panning out. So let's see how this plays out. But, this is potentially some movement. Investigations like this are really hard, especially after that 24-hour period passes. The assailant has had time to leave the area. It takes time. We are on day 6 now out from the Brown shooting that killed 2 students and injured 9 others. A little bit more than 48 hours later, you had the assassination of the MIT
I heard this as well.
professor.
I mean, this is a separate thing, but according to Reuters, China has created extreme ultraviolet lithography, and it is in the testing phase now, which is breaking the technological limitations of the United States. So they might have had a potential breakthrough
We were talking earlier, this comes amidst a week of huge, tragic news stories around the country and around the world, including a terror attack in Australia. So it's one thing after another. There's been a lot of speculation online. And right now what we're doing is we're just following the facts, and we want to be careful because this is a lead. This is another lead.
Bro, I'm telling you, the only thing that I can think of in my, if I put my conspiracy tinfoil hat on, right? The only thing that I can see them connecting these two incidents is if like the actual target of this like assassin was potentially this MIT professor working on nuclear technology at MIT at the verge of some sort of breakthrough discovery that will be a significant setback to this research. And the reason why the Brown University shooting happened is to exhaust the resources of all matter of law enforcement in an area elsewhere, and that the Brown University shooting was simply a distraction, knowing full well that like the building that he was going into was an older building on Brown University campus, knew exactly where the cameras were, knew that he would be able to make a swift exit after doing this shooting, and then use that as a distraction to literally drive 20 minutes down the road to go and actually take out his intended target. Sorry, that's just wild. That's way too much attention when he could have just gotten the professor at his house. I agree. I know. I'm just saying, like, if I'm putting a tinfoil hat on, that's all I'm saying.
Of course, law enforcement are looking, given the fact that the lead is leading them to.
Brookline isn't 20 minutes from Providence, friend. It's more like an hour away, just FYI. Okay. What's up, dude? Hi, what's going on? You can take her out. Yeah. Austin is here.
Who want to take
Bro
a look
watches
at a
Knives Out
potential
once.
connection
I'm just trying to make
between the shooting
sense
at
of
Brown
this.
University and the shooting of this beloved MIT professor who we just heard from our station there, lived in that apartment with his family. We don't have any reason to believe at this time that it was a politically motivated attack on him, and we are waiting to hear more. Authorities have released absolutely no information about a potential motive there.
So we were just showing this surveillance video that law enforcement enhanced and released of a person of interest. Doesn't give the public a whole lot to go on. And we don't know how law enforcement made this identification. Could it be that they identified the person that was seen in close proximity that they released yesterday? Could that person have led them? Could somebody have recognized the particular clothing or the gait? But this, as far as surveillance imagery goes of a person of interest, not the most helpful to the public.
That's true, but it's painstaking work. The image quality is not that great. So what police were wanting to do is to fill in.
Brookline, aka Baruch Line, because of how many Jews are here, is woke as and is literally outside of Boston. I used to live in Brookline as an anti-Zionist Jew, and it's chock full of us. There's literally an 80-year-old lady who sits outside the train stop and trains Free Palestine once a week. She rocks. Yeah, that is what I have heard as well. It's a part of Boston. Okay, I mean, it's like close enough in proximity that you can drive the same fucking car from Brown University over in Rhode Island to Brookline, though. And that's part of the reason why I think they're like connecting these two things together. Unless the motherfucker who did this in Brown University was literally dumb enough to drive his car back to Brookline where he's from or something. Like, because the only thing that's connecting these two shootings together is like the timeline and also this one rental car. And I don't know how that works. Like, okay, a guy did a mass shooting, got in his fucking car, drove back to this random suburb, and seemingly was in close proximity to this other potential assassination took place.
In those pieces of the puzzle, because they had only the very beginning of the puzzle. They had the person of interest who they believe carried out the shooting walking in the residential neighborhood near the building, that engineering building on MIT's
What does law enforcement
campus.
think that person of interest was doing? Do they know?
Wearing the black mask, dressed in dark clothing, walking quickly in one clip, and walking in and out of frame in another clip. In fact, there's one clip where the individual is walking. It was like the streets come to a point and there was somebody else walking. You can see you can't identify who it is. And the person they believe is the person of interest who carried out the attack, who they believe carried out the attack.
I have insider info from Norfolk DA Brookline. They believe it's the same personal suspected vendetta against Ivy League types. That's insane. Okay, what the First of all, I am to entertain that you know the DA who revealed some serious information that isn't out yet. And not only that, but also their investigation has led to them believing that this is just like totally random. This guy just hates Ivy League people. No, you did not get that. That sounds like some shit that Reddit made up or something. That seems crazy. Is it so far-fetched though? Yes, because why would they attack Brown University, random students in a Brown University engineering building, and then turn around and attack someone very specific at their home and not even at, like, I don't know, another Ivy League institution or something?
Took off running. So that was interesting, but they didn't have the connective tissue to piece together the path of flight. So they were trying to find, did he enter a vehicle? Did he enter a residence or a business? They had very little to go on. And at this point in the investigation, they do not have a slam dunk. They are looking at...
Trying to rationalize this is not the way to go about it. You're right. I should be going even more far-fetched. Here is my theory. It's Charlie Kirk. He's alive. And he's going on a revenge tour on college campuses. Okay? He survived it, and now he's on a revenge tour. Is that better? Are you comfortable with this level of theorizing?
At a potential connection.
He's carrying the flame.
That's where we're at, and that is based on their painstaking work of collecting all this imagery that is out there, and it's terabytes of imagery, and they've been going slowly, looking at images of, are there things that look similar about these two locations, and they're looking at that.
I do want to ask you, when it comes to the lack of footage that we have, do we know what the reason is behind that?
So this is a good question. The engineering building, part of that building was outfitted with new technology, more cameras, but the area, the room where the students were prepping for their final exam, the room where the shooting took place, there was not that really good.
Okay. Was he lucky and he just seemingly lucked into the one area on campus that wasn't as secure and didn't have as much surveillance? Or did he actually know exactly what this area was? And that's the reason why he did the shooting there, knowing that he could get away if he were to do it right there.
Camera angles, cameras that can move around and really capture the full room. And so there was no imagery, according to authorities, there was no imagery of the actual attack. So you didn't see the person fire, turn, and leave. So they were having to piece together surveillance footage from outside, not just outside the building, outside the classroom, outside the building.
Why are you acting like Candace Owens? Wait, what do you mean? First of all, Candace Owens doesn't own conspiracy theories. That's number one. Number two, there are certain instances in the absence of like official confirmation on certain there are, like, I'm working off of the information that they're giving us. And if the information that they're giving us as it stands currently is that these two shootings that happened in somewhat close proximity to one another, at least like a proximity that's close enough that you can travel by car, and that there was the same rental car in both of these locations. And then also on top of that, the official investigative body is confirming that there is a connection between the two. And they said that they actually have the suspect in the custody. Obviously, I'm going to, while I'm waiting for additional information, I'm just, telling you what could potentially tie this tie these two things together. It's not me entertaining conspiracy theories. I'm just saying, like, what could it look like? What could a connection, which is confirmed, right? At least confirmed by official investigators. What could a connection between the two shootings be? One is seemingly a random act of violence. The other is seemingly a directed, targeted, deliberate assassination. We don't know yet if that is the case, but that's what it looks like, just judging by who the victims are. If he had gone into Brown University engineering building, okay, and then actually shot like another professor that was somehow involved in research for some kind of like nuclear project, and then did that, you'd be like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. As a matter of fact, this makes so much sense that it actually could be Iran even as retaliation, considering that America and Israel assassinated a bunch of Iranian nuclear scientists. But that's not, it doesn't seem to be the case, at least. The Brown University shooting seems like a random act of violence, whereas the Brookline shooting that took place with the MIT professor doesn't seem like a random act of violence, but instead seems like a targeted, deliberate assassination, and not even at his school, but directly outside of his home. Here's the timeline. Do your research. Timeline. Cameras capture potential shooter's route around Brown University. I mean, we already covered that stuff. I also don't know the area well enough to be able to give you an accurate assessment. But yeah, hours before the attack, security camera footage capture a person of interest, police say, may have been casing a quiet, affluent corner of College Hill, just out of reach of the busier streets that cross through the urban campus in Providence, Rhode Island. From 2 p.m. to 2:08, the earliest videos disclosed by police show a person of interest in dark clothing and a mask sauntering along Manning Street sidewalk before turning onto Cook Street and later onto George Street, passing stately mansions dating from the 19th and early 20th centuries. The person of interest will spend most of the next hour just about a block away from the much busier Hope Street, an unofficial eastern border of Brown's campus, and one of the better-known streets that traverses Providence's east side. From 2:08 to 2:13 p.m., the same person walks on Benevolent Street, but pauses and turns around in front of the Aldrich House, home to the Rhode Island Historical Society, which has cameras near its main entrance and side door. A spokesperson for the society later declined to comment, except say the organization is cooperating with investigators. The person is then seen along the side entrance of the Aldrich House, where there is a small outing, and then behind its gated lawn and a row of trees on George Street. From 2:16 to 2:18, more unusual activity happens around the Aldrich House. Notes on a video shared by the FBI on social media and later deleted say the person abruptly turns west down George Street. Second individual follows. That second person can be seen on Cook Street carrying a small light-colored bag. Shortly after turning the corner, if the footage is accurate, the second person appears to run in the same direction of the person of interest. The person of interest ran moments earlier. Police on Wednesday shared new images of people with light-colored bags they want to speak with because of their proximity to the person of interest. The main subject of the investigation later makes a short appearance on Hope Street, walking on a sidewalk alongside the Brown campus. At 2:20 p.m., another video taken from the Historical Society building, the person is shown running east on Benevolent Street away from the campus towards Cook Street. The running clip is followed by a 30-minute gap, at least in the footage publicly disclosed. There is police activity / a manhunt in Salem, New Hampshire, confirmed to be connected to the Brown shooting. We can't even see it. Wait, why is it not playing a live video? Okay.
Investigates has learned the identification occurred sometime late Wednesday, and authorities have been looking for him ever since. As far as we are aware, the suspect has not been located, and we have not been provided a name. I'm Rachel Keller.
And I'm Mark Ackerblum. Today's briefing that was scheduled for 4 o'clock, that was postponed suddenly. No rescheduled as yet, and we have, of course, a full crew out chasing this story, also talking to their sources. So let's start it off with Boston 25 investigative reporter Ted Daniel, who joins us live. He is down in Providence. And Ted, what are you hearing right now?
Mark, I'm told that a briefing will happen. They just don't have a time on it right now. As we've been reporting over the last couple hours,
how is the murderer Lorero going to impede anything in the public research front? Was his work peer-reviewed in public? Isn't his team still alive? The scientific community can absolutely develop his work. Yes. No one is saying that this won't be... Oh, my God. Guys, the point is, it might be a setback. What if this person was, like, on the verge of some sort of pivotal discovery? Okay, that's it. That's all they're saying. If it didn't actually impede on, development, then Israel wouldn't be actively assassinating every nuclear scientist in Iran, right? It's not like it's one guy working on everything. It's not like one singular brilliant mind that cooks up everything, unless it's the Pakistani dude that was almost single-handedly responsible for Pakistan getting nukes. That was a one-guy situation, but that's rarely ever one guy, okay? I mean, that dude pretty much downloaded all of the info into his brain and then recreated the schematics by himself. But that, again, that's like very rare. But even the fact that there can be a one guy style situation is probably the reason why, you know, you could suspect that this could be that one guy. Who knows?
Sources confirming to her that the suspected shooter has been found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside the storage facility.